So, how can Europe step up its creative and cultural industries through metaclustering across sectors? It's been 1 year since the launch of the metaclustering for CCIs. How's it going? Well, welcome to the cluster talk about creative crossroads, building synergies across ecosystems with cultural and creative industries. I'm Chris Burns, and I'm in the European Parliament. A bit of commotion here in the Mickey Mouse bar, they call it, because the chairs look like Mickey Mouse ears. If you've ever been in the European Parliament here in Brussels, it's quite a sight. Anyhow, so this cluster of talk is a series organized by the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, ECCP, 1,500 organizations on behalf of DG GROW at the European Commission. The agenda today, let's take a look at it. We got the cluster news from Nina. Then we will have a presentation by Kati on the CCIs, and then the panel debate. Now, the panel debate is also involving you, because if you can send in your questions, that would be great. Then we have funding opportunities from Nina. Some tech tips. Yeah, so how do I send a question? Well, you hit the button at the bottom, sorry, of your screen. You can also click raise your hand if you want to pose the question yourself. And we'll have some Slidos too, so be ready for that. Slido.com, where you'll see the QR on the screen. This is also a chat. Also, there's a chat button. Watch that, because there's a lot of exchange back and forth. It's a two-way street between you and the speakers, and also the European Commission, to get the feedback. That's about it. It's being recorded for playback, so keep that in mind. And the slides are also available on the CCI website. Let's get to news now from Nina from the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. Nina, you're a team member of the ECCP. What you got?
First of all, we would like to invite you all to register for the EU Industry Days, in case you haven't done it yet. It will take place on the 5th and 6th of June in Rzeszów in Poland, looking at competitiveness and decarbonization, innovation and investment, as well as security and resilience of the EU industry. It's the flagship event for industrial policy in Europe, so please register if you want to come to Poland to take part in the EU's Industry Days 2025. And if you're already there, we have a side event to the EU Industry Days. This is the Clusters Meet Regions, one of the series that we have from the ECCP to bring together clusters and policymakers, businesses and research institutions to discuss the role of clusters in the regional economic development.
Yeah, that's near the Polish border, the Ukrainian border, isn't it? So chances are there could be a number of Ukrainians who might come over.
Yep.
Be part of it.
As well. So everyone from, of course, Poland itself, but also the European countries from Ukraine, everyone's invited to join us. It will be a 2-day program with high-level discussions, with also some networking opportunities. And the main topics to discuss are dual-use technologies and defense readiness, circular economy and decarbonization, as well as unmanned and autonomous systems. So register. It's on the 3rd and 4th of June, right before the EU Industry Days. And we have a call open to host a Clusters Meet Regions event. So in case you and your regional authority are interested in hosting such a workshop in your region, feel free to send us your application until the end of this month. Deadline is the 30th of May. You can find all the information, with including the call of expression of interest, as well as the application form in the white book on the ECCP website, with all the information on what is needed to apply to host such an event. Preferably, it could be still this year. Otherwise, you could also indicate if you're interested in hosting one next year. And last but not least, we would like to invite you to another series that we have, which are matchmaking events. The one for India is confirmed. We are going there on the 29th until the 31st of October. This is both for European SMEs, but also for clusters. And we are doing matchmaking with the Indian counterparts on the specific areas of renewables or clean energy and storage, smart grid and energy infrastructure, electric mobility, and green finance and investments. This is in New Delhi in the greater Noida area. And you also have the chance to go to the Renewable Energy India Expo, to which we are linking this matchmaking event. So a great opportunity is in case you have any business to conduct with India, please register for this. And we have also more ECCP events in store. We have a number of clusters meet regions that are already published, for which you can register. We're going to Italy, to Romania, to Slovenia, and to Finland, to Germany. And we also have a matchmaking event in Cairo mid-June. So that's it from our side, and I'm happy to give you back the microphone so that we can start with the topic of the day.
Great, Nina, thank you very much. Let's go to Kati Uzi-Rauva, Director of the Real Hub North, EIT Culture and Creativity North in Helsinki. And you're going to talk to us about the CCI Creative and Cultural Industries overview of that ecosystem. Let's hear about it.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Lovely to be here. Good morning, everyone. So I will be presenting EIT Culture and Creativity in a nutshell. It's a new initiative started last December. Can I change the slide myself or? Thank you. So first of all, about cultural and creative sectors and industries, CCIs. We are talking even up to 9 million people working in this field all around Europe, which is a substantial economical power on our continent. It is also a meaningful economic field of different kinds of businesses. But at the same time, and as a field of business and field of livelihoods, it is a little bit complex because it's also very much intertwined into other industries. I mean, creative methods and talent is used in all other areas of economy as well. And on top of that, culture is intertwined in all aspects of our lives at the same time. So it's, you know, it's a little bit tricky to define the added value of creative industries and cultural sectors, but at the same time, we can see it everywhere. So it's a powerful force in our lives. Also, a major element when we talk about democratization, social coherence in our society, and so on. And naturally also all those topics about creating sustainability culturally, ecologically, economically, and socially, culture and creativity has a major importance over there. It's also very interesting how culture and creativity has become more and more important in our lives, like, for example, how we spend our free time. I attended yesterday the Finnish Game Awards, annual Finnish Game Awards session, and one of the most senior founders was talking on the stage as a keynote, and he said, we managed to create an industry of 3 billion euros in Finland, which is bigger than forestry, for example, here, out of nothing, basically. So creativity and culture is about creating something intangible often. And this is also one of the elements that makes it so interesting, but at the same time, difficult to define. Next slide, please. About EIT Culture and Creativity, for those who are not familiar with EIT, it's the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. And there are so-called knowledge and innovation communities, KICs, and we are the 9th one. So there has been 8 previous KICs before in health sector, food, digitalization, and so forth. But for the first time ever, we have to this extent, we have a program for culture and creativity in Europe so that we can start building livelihoods and businesses on a more systematic way on a pan-European level. And I'm really proud to be part of this initiative. We have 6 offices all around Europe. I am heading the Helsinki office. So we have 10 countries here in Northern Europe, but then our headquarters is located in Cologne. We are acquiring partners in our network. We have now about 60, 70 core and cooperation partners all around Europe, consisting of universities, research institutes, companies, cultural hubs, and so on. Next slide, please. So this is the main topic of my presentation today. It's all about different industries in our field and different aspects to the field. So we have selected these 5 industry areas, so-called focal areas, to work with to begin with. So we're dealing with fashion, cultural heritage, architecture, audiovisual and media sector, as well as gaming as our priority areas at this point. And we are enhancing circularity and ecological sustainability, societal development, as well as smart usage of technology in these areas. And as we started in December, regrettably, we don't have many cases yet. We've piloted an acceleration program so far with 9 companies all around Europe. They were coming from fashion sector, building new sustainable business models for production or for design, as well as we had some audiovisual media production companies along. But I'm not presenting any particular case here as such, as we are just building our service portfolio. We will provide for SMEs and startups in creative fields access to funding, access to networks, access to skills as well. And also we have a job market already up and running. And also we can provide access to policy-making debate for our partners and the stakeholders in the field. You see the picture in the audiovisual media slot over there. We just got an Oscar winning animated film in Latvia, which is really surprising that actually Latvia got a American Film Academy Award. And this is huge news for us in Europe, because audiovisual media, for example, is so dominated by not Europeans, but for example, American and Chinese distribution channels. And it's a major news for us in our field to be able to also gain some success in that field. And I took the picture as an example here because Latvia is a small country with no established support system for companies like this one, the production company that received this award. And now we're actually trying to also support how to build a more sustainable support system in different countries, how to help policies in different countries to understand creative sectors and how to build them further. So it is a very juicy example of what can happen and what we can do. And on a pan-European level, how do we define the support system and needs for creative industries and cultural sectors? Also, it's very interesting to see in the future how cultural heritage will be developed. For example, museum sector, and how they are nowadays more audience serving facilities instead of just archiving our cultural trades. So we will be seeing very interesting developments on the service side, for example, or the usage of smart technology. We can take this next slide, actually. because I would like to promote our digital hub. So we've launched a platform where everybody who's interested in creative industries and cultural sectors can join. So just taking a picture of the QR code, you can join for free on our platform and see what is happening over there, who's there, what kind of partners and stakeholders we have joining into the discussion with us, what kind of topics we are handling, and what is buzzing and what is happening in Europe in general on culture and creativity. There's also a timetable for different kinds of events all around Europe that we provide and so on. So this is in a nutshell what we have now created so far. We have 7 + 7 years ahead of us. So there is time to develop as well. And we would also like to invite everybody who's interested to the joint discussion to gather as much insight on creative industries and cultural sectors as possible in order to harvest all the possible information for the development work. Any questions or comments from Chris or from the audience?
I guess interesting that Creative Europe is, I think, what is it, 2.4 billion over the 7-year budget period, and that there was a consultation that just wrapped up on what the next budget term should be about it. Did you make any suggestions, or do you have any suggestions about how Creative Europe could help to back what you're doing?
Well, this is something up for a debate, definitely in the future. I think that the basic distinction between Creative Europe and EIT Culture and Creativity is that Creative Europe is supporting the actual production and distribution of content, for example, or creating events, concepts for content. And our mission is to enhance the livelihood and business building by supporting skill development, business development, innovation. So we are kind of trying to build the support for people being able to create sustainable careers in these fields. So there's a kind of a clear distinction, to me at least, between these two big entities.
I think also when we talked a few days ago, you mentioned something about new Bauhaus.
Yes, new European
that is sort
Bauhaus.
of, the new European Bauhaus connecting creativity with industry, with production.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have an example of that you're
we are going to launch with New European Bauhaus some joint ventures in the future. It's all still a little bit blurry because we're negotiating, and as I said, we started in December, so please be patient with us.
Sure.
But definitely we want to kind of cooperate with different European programs in developing both content or the actual substance of creativity, as well as, for example, regional urban development, community development, and so on, because we do have means to help in that work.
Right. Yeah, it's all about, it can be in all different kinds of sectors, this idea of new European Bauhaus, as it was in the original Bauhaus.
Yes.
Okay, Kati, that's great, I think. Let's move on, if we can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And stay with us if you can.
I will.
If it's possible to answer any questions. Let's move on to our Slido and questions on Slido. As you can see there's the bug. You can, the QR code, or you can just go online, slido.com, #CCI. And we'll pitch some questions to you, and this is engaging with you. We want to have you involved in this. What part of the culture or creative industries are you or your members involved in? So this is a word cloud. You can put whatever you want, whatever you can, about what kind of industries, culture or creative that you're involved in. It must be a broad gamut. There we have audiovisual, one of the things that, yep, there we go, that Katya was talking about, cultural heritage, audiovisual. Yep, VR, right? Exactly, virtual reality, right? Yeah, and that can be in, wow, that can be in fashion, movies, cultural heritage. And we see, yeah, furniture, gaming, design, architecture, a lot of these things that also the new European Bauhaus deals with. Yeah. Right. Okay, let's move on to performing arts. Okay. Right. So broad gamut. Theater. Cultural heritage is the main thing. Okay. Oh, we have 3 participants typing. Let's let let them enter that before we move on. It also shows you the cultural richness that we have here in Europe and creative richness. Richesse. Very good. Yeah, one more. I like the living one, living. Okay, let's move on to the next one, gaming too, yeah. What is the key challenge to you that you or your members face? Access to finance, fragmentation, lack of formalized collaboration, or other? And you can put that in the chat if you have some other thing. That chat is a great thing to watch too, because that bug at the bottom there of the screen, there's a lot of good give and take back and forth between all of us on this podcast. Access to finance is the main thing, right? Yeah. But there's also fragmentation, and then fragmentation is something that can be addressed by the clusters to pull together common minds, common companies, common projects. So that's a very important role that the clusters can do. So fragmentation, actually 1/4 of you see that as a challenge. Okay. And let's, but access to finance, the overriding concern. Let's move on to the next. Third question, in which areas do you see potential for cross-ecosystem collaboration? And that's a word cloud. You can type in whatever you like. What areas? Could actually be similar to what we saw at the beginning, because there were many different ecosystems that we saw, and those are the ones that could be connected to each other. Green and digital transformation, yep. Health, immersive technologies, craft and design and industries. Now that's interesting, immersive technologies being the overriding. Yeah, Kati, do you want to comment on this? What you see there, that any surprises to you from these from this poll, or do you see did you expect those? Yeah,
right. This is pretty much those topics that we've been also discussing and also trying to kind of tackle and understand deeper and deeper how we should approach from CCSIs these topics. Also in the previous discussion, the access to finance is a topic of its own, which I should have commented in my presentation, because this is a major thing in creative field, how to convince investors, for example, or how to describe innovation in our field. And this has to do with this slide as well, that what is it when we are, for example, producing content? What is the actual connection with technologies and how we can utilize and at the same time engage fans and the market to the work? Because, you know, when we talk about innovation, it is about providing something that adds value and is actually accepted by the market and the users, and not just making inventions. And this is, for EIT, I think it's a major question when it concerns our work in CCSIs.
Right, right. Okay. So cross ecosystem, and we're going to talk about this in the panel as well, about cross ecosystems. And yeah, and metaclusters also has to do that. Okay, well let's move on. Green and digital transformation, immersive technologies are the main ones. Let's move on to the panel, and let's begin with Georgiana Mihailovici, who is General Secretary of Open Hub Creative Cluster. Georgiana, you work with the Friend CCI initiative, and that was part of that metaclusters CCI launch a year ago. How far have you come now in this metacluster effort?
Hello, everyone. Hi, Chris. I represent, of course, Open Hub Creative Cluster, but very pleased to be here on behalf of Friend CCI. We are running together with our partners from all over Europe. Actually, we are 5 countries that we are collaborating inside this project that this year actually makes 3 years. We started a long time ago, and we are almost completing the Friend CCI project, which is a project co-financed by the European Union and offers financial support to SMEs directed to the development and implementation of cross-sectoral projects. Also, these projects are aimed to bring innovation both to the products, but also to the processes and technologies used.
Can you give us an example of that? Concrete?
Yes, actually, throughout the calls we run in the past, there were 2 calls. We supported 22 innovative projects that made consortiums from different kind of sectors, and we have a lot of good examples where initiative involved AR, XR, eco-design, but also sustainability. And they also innovated a lot with developing digital tools and immersive experience. And the Romanian projects we supported, and for which I can talk really a lot, because we manage this project all together. It's from our examples from architectures, where architectural expertise combined with AI to elevate projects discovery stage, offering unlimited design possibilities and iterations, but also digital platforms dedicated for upskilling, especially on the marketing education part, where training and a lot of consulting it's available for everyone that wants to address and of course to develop. Also educational projects that involved building books also for children to understand better the world we are facing, with the possibility to use AI and to develop their own books on their own languages, which is really creative, and it's really nice to see. But also, I can talk a lot about these projects, but you can all see it on the Friend CCI platform, or you just need to Google it, and I'm pretty sure that you are going to find also there.
Yeah. Well, you could put a link on in the chat, so it's easier for people to get to.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that would be great. Let me come back to you, but I want to move on to Rafaela, and all of you panelists. You can turn your cameras on now at this point. Genoveva, Seu, yeah, Rafaela, question about about this cross-sectoral cooperation between the CCIs and the digital ecosystem. Can you talk about that? How you work that?
Yeah, Chris. So in my mind,
sorry, I didn't even. Sorry, I have to present you. You are the president of Basilicata Creativa and project manager for the European Digital Innovation Hub Heritage Smart Lab. Let's talk cross-sector.
Exactly. Exactly, Chris. So I'm both situation, no, a president of a cluster of cultural and creative industries and a manager and coordination of a digital innovation hub as one of the 140 digital innovation hub made in Europe in the last 2 years. It's very, very huge and big network to help not only the CCI sector, but in general, all the sector, public administration, SMEs, directly in their territory to grow, no, to involve them in the digital transition. So in my mind, I have an idea about CCI sector. For me, CCI sector are like a prototype sector. No, we prototype every time. If you imagine, we create film, we create performing product, we create content for gaming. So it's very huge work we have every day. It's like military sector, also they prototype every time. So the idea is, from my side, the cultural and creative sector can prototype also the new way to use technology. So when we discuss about how it's possible to collaborate with the technology sector and other sector with the cultural and creative industries, from my side, is to test something, no? To imagine how we can use in a different way, especially the emergency technology. One of this is absolutely intelligence artificial in that sense. So we are working a lot in our work in this combination from cluster and European Digital Innovation Hub sector to imagine how we can use in an effective way, not only for CCI sector, but also for other sectors, the generative AI technologies. That is one of our core in this moment. The other idea
sorry, go ahead, finish that thought. And I had a question.
No, please, Chris.
Well, I mean, when you're doing cross-sectoral and you're talking about, some people have that creative side and the other have the technical side. Do you help to facilitate them to talk to each other? Maybe it's difficult for them to understand each other's modus operandi.
Yeah, for example, thanks to the fund coming from the European Commission in a different project, one of this project is European Digital Innovation Hubs. In the last 24 months, we work with a specific working group made from researcher, artists, technical expert, to create something new in terms of content, but also in terms of fruition about specific pilot site, museum, archaeological site, not only in our region, the south of Italy, in Basilicata, but also in other parts of the Europe. So this is our idea to prototype something to help the creative sector to introduce the enterprises and cultural organization in the technology field and also in the opposite. So in our opinion, we need to create this opportunity to working together with a specific site. This is a test. This is the opportunity to prototype. And also it's a very, very important training for the territory, especially in the small villages. And in Europe, we have a lot of small villages. And also another thing is, why we need to create this opportunity to cooperation. It's like under the idea of the cluster, because the big part of our sector was funded by micro enterprises. And we have also a lot of association and culture and non-profit organization in the culture and creative industries sector. So thanks to that idea, we need to generate cross-collaboration in that field.
Yeah, stronger together. Let me move to Genoveva Kristova. And Genoveva, you are president of the Bulgarian Furniture Cluster and Createch Cluster. And you can talk about cross ecosystem. You've got examples of collaboration and the importance of that. Also interregional, you can mention, I think, as you work with not only from Bulgaria, but also Romania, Kosovo, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Chris. And good morning. Good morning, everyone. I saw as I scrolled down the participants, so I saw some familiar names. So really happy to see Anna or Christina or Tor Arne, so many people. And I'm really, really happy. Thank you very much for the invitation. So if you those who knows me, so I've been in the clusters world for the last 20 years. So it's now I'm like sounding like, wow, it's 20 years of experience. And we started with furniture. And I just want Nina, can you just put the first slide? Because I would like to show an example how we moved from furniture, from a traditional industry, and probably the Bulgarian furniture cluster. So we are very business-driven cluster, which has been established in 2009 with 100 plus member companies nowadays. And just give me the next one to show the examples of what we've done now. So currently, because of the collaboration between our companies, we now managed to accomplish more than 300 hotel projects for all the big brands you can see on the list, like Marriott, Hilton, IHG, Accor, you name it. Because of collaboration, there are nearly to 26,000 bedrooms and for these hotels. And we managed to do it not only with Bulgarian companies, but as Chris very well mentioned, we also have broadened the supply chain, now working with our colleagues from Romania, but also from Kosovo. By the way, Kosovo, it's our latest discovery. And we have about 10 companies working with us. One of the latest project is the Hoxton, the big hotel chain in Dublin. We are doing together. And so we're trying to find the best, the competitive advantages from the companies in the region, because we need to be bigger to get stronger. Otherwise, it's very difficult to compete on the global stage. Now we're also going to the Middle East, and we are also pushing more resources because, many European companies are fighting there. And because of this cooperation in regional cooperation between the furniture manufacturers, we're able to provide projects on a bigger scale. Otherwise, just staying in Bulgaria or in a few manufacturers, you're gonna die because it's you're very small to compete in the global world of hospitality. Chris, I can say about the other cooperation if you allow me. So because I think
because you're in music and film too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the funny part. This is the funny part, especially because what's coming this week, right? This week. Eurovision, guys. Eurovision is the big final,
so
right?
Are you in on that? Are you in on that too? Somehow.
So Eurovision, so indirectly, absolutely. Like 2020, 2021, I was leading the Bulgarian delegation. We represented Bulgaria at Eurovision. This was the last time Bulgaria went there. So we are really pushing our, policymakers to get focused back on Eurovision because we had great results. But because of Eurovision, we managed to see the entire spectrum of the creative industries and the creative verticals, in this broad industry, the filmmakers, the fashion stylists, the photographers, all the videographers, and of course the music, etc. So after Eurovision, and we went to top 10, so we are really, really happy at these days. And fingers crossed for all contestants this year in Basel. So afterwards, we set it up. Give me the next slide, Nina, please. Thank you very much. We set it up the Creative Cluster Bulgaria, because we saw, and I think this was your question, Chris, that the sector was very fragmented. So all those different verticals, all those different sectors, they were fighting themselves. For the policymakers, fighting means, okay, pay attention to us, the filmmakers or the designers or the music or everybody. And I said, what about joining our efforts and consolidate all this into one organization in a cluster, in a big umbrella cluster, where you have all this, and then go together to the policymakers as a coaching creative industry cluster and saying, come on, guys, pay attention to us. And this is how we set it up, the first creative technology cluster in Bulgaria in the creative industries. And we found out that this industry is making nearly 7%, is 6.9% of the GDP of Bulgaria, which is massive, and nobody knew about that. So it was just 3 years ago.
It's about that across Europe. It's somewhere around 7% for the whole EU.
Absolutely. Comparing to furniture is about 2.5. I've been working all these years. So Then we shifted the interest into this big umbrella like Creative Cluster Bulgaria, trying to support all the industry speaking at one voice, which is very important. And now, because of this collaboration, now the state and the policymakers and those who join us in Sofia in March, end of March, with one of our Createch Summit, saw this. Everybody were there. They're supporting us. They're supporting the companies. So now the companies, they have much bigger access to finance because they saw the industry as a whole and not just everybody's fighting each other.
So this is a perfect example of a metacluster then.
Absolutely, absolutely. At a national base and giving just absolutely. And I would like to give a last example about this sector collaboration between all those industries. And I'm so happy because I was watching very attentively the diagram with the examples, you know, which is the strongest area.
And it's Kati, right?
Yeah. And it's exactly the immersive technologies. So there is a video, but we're not playing it now. I'll put it in the chat.
So, in the chat.
Absolutely. So, and you see like all those, the immersive technologies now are helping our furniture industry, back to furniture. And as also Kati mentioned, as like the gaming now is overtaking forestry for Finland, which is one of the, the country with massive achievement in this sector. So one of the strongest within the spectrum of creative industries in Bulgaria is gaming, AR, VR. Those guys now are helping my furniture makers, to present their products much more appealing, right? Appealing to nowadays, because it's not the static furniture, you see on the showroom or whatsoever. You see this in an immersive environment. So for example, and this is the last example, we have a project now, a big hotel project, 200 rooms. My designers are from London, the investor is from the Middle East, and the producers are in the Southeast Europe. Okay, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Romania, as I said. So we are meeting in a virtual room, talking about the furniture in this room and discussing what to be changed. Like we can change the headboard, we can change the lamps, whatever. And this, first of all, it's green because we're not traveling like all over Europe. And also it's much more appealing also marketing wise. So the client can see the product and can understand much better the product before its realization. So in fact, those new technologies are helping the conservative guys from the furniture industry to modernize, to innovate, and to be more competitive than ever.
Yeah, I can't wait to see European summits done in a virtual room too. Wouldn't that save a lot of CO2? But thank you, Genoveva. Let's move on to Gianangelo Bellati. Everybody stay on too, because we're going to go back and forth on questions. Gianangelo Bellati, president of the Venetian cluster. And when I think of a Venetian cluster, I think of Venetian glass and other wonderful things that the Veneto region produces. How are the metaclusters working there, Gianangelo?
Being in Venice is a big responsibility if we speak about cultural heritage. But all through Italy, you have to remember that we have a so big amount of a huge amount of examples of cultural heritage that has to be maintained, that has to be restored, that has to be promoted. And cultural heritage is connected with tourism. It's very important. Is the concept that is being developed by European Commission connecting the world of cultural heritage to the world and to the concept of tourism. So for this reason, Venice is a very important example, sometimes in a bad way, because we are becoming a Disneyland.
Bad way.
Tourism is too much.
Oh, yeah, well, the over-tourism. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. But still, and I have to apologize for the image there because it's your background is reversed. So we know this, we've been working on it. But the main thing is you're with us. That's the main thing.
And, my face is there.
Right. And so concretely, over tourism aside, Disneyland aside, what are you guys doing concretely with working metaclusters in your region?
speaking about our cluster in the region, we are recognized by our regional, by our region, by our institution, and we have about 800 companies connected with us, and we are trying to help them in accessing EU programs, EU politics, EU funding. I saw at the beginning of our talk that funding is one of the most important worries of our partners. And as in Italy, there is not a so strong politic in favor of cluster like European Commission organizes. So for us, it's very, very important to be very close to the origin of the cluster politic. It means to the Brussels institutions, to the European institution, to Commission, to European Commission, and all people working on that in Brussels. And for this reason, connecting to the European politics and programs is very important to give some kind of service. For example, commercial services, for example, common investment services, put into integrating the economies and the different companies and cluster of our region with our European regions.
Okay. And cross-regional, can you talk that too? Cross-regional, how are you working with other regions?
Yeah, we profit a lot of the Interreg programs. We think one of the most important and the most interesting European funding program is Interreg, because we are so many different countries, but some of our region are close. The border is with our regions of our countries, and you have to build Europe starting from the regions close to the harbor of different member states. And for example, we have very important Interreg programs with Croatia, with Slovenia, Alpine Space, Central Europe, Interreg, with Germany, Poland, and so on. So we are trying to get all of the possibilities from this funding and financing of European Commission, even because the kind of project that we can get financed are very interesting for the cluster policies.
Right. What kind of product are we talking about? I mean, I mentioned Venetian glass, but what other things that could be produced through a metacluster?
But I can give you a concrete example, connecting industry, connecting handicraft, and connecting cultural heritage. We are leader of a project whose name is Gelato on the Road. It's a creative culture project. And this is an example of many projects that we are dealing with. And this project put together
Gelato is ice cream. Gelato
ice cream. Gelato is the international name of the handicraft gelato. Ice cream is the industrial one. Handicraft gelato is the gelato produced by local producer with 0 kilometers product. And with, for example, a gelato artigianale you cannot sell after 2 weeks. Because the gelato has to be fresh, to be produced by local producer with local products. That means you are touching a cultural heritage, the cultural of the people producing this gelato. And this gelato is, this itinerary shows even a museum. We have all the data about the history of gelato and of the production of the gelato in the different European countries, from east to west, from north to south. And that is an example. But for example, another example is that we could get financing, for example, for maintaining the cultural heritage. We speak about the Green Deal and the problem to adapt the buildings to the Green Deal. This is a concern for the cultural heritage, architectural cultural heritage that we have in Italy, but not only in Italy. And for this reason, we have to exchange different experiences coming from different countries.
Okay, very good.
And for this reason, we are happy with Raffaele and the others here present in this talk, that we, with the help of the Commission, we funded the metacluster of cultural heritage.
Great. So Angelo, thanks. Stay on. Let me invite everyone to send in your questions. You can put them through that button at the bottom of the screen. And let's see, Seu Felipe, Director of Innovation, AEP, that's the Portuguese Business Association. You're also chair of the Cultural and Creative Industries Expert Group of the Enterprise Europe Network, that's EEN, of which AEP is a part of. And right now you're in Reykjavik, right, Sue?
Yes, Chris.
Yeah,
I'm
and you're at
participating.
a meeting there. You're a meeting of Enterprise Europe Network, Culture and Creative Industries Group. You're chairwoman of that group of experts. Yeah, can you tell us what's going on over there? What are you talking about? Probably cross-cultural, right? Cross-sectoral?
Yes, thank you, Chris. First of all, I would like to congratulate EU cluster talks because this is a space to exchange knowledge and these very interesting and practical informations, and nothing could be more powerful and with the potential to generate huge impact in this sector of activity. Yes, you are right. I'm participating in this talk as the chairwoman of the Cultural and Creative Industries Group of Experts of Enterprise Europe Network. And I'm participating from Reykjavik in beautiful Iceland. We are having our semestral meeting here. We are 26 partners from 17 different countries of all Europe. We are having this meeting alongside the Innovation Week Iceland side event, Innovate and Elevate, Funding, Founders and Fun, organized by Enterprise Europe Network and the Technology Development Fund. Let me say very short words about Enterprise Europe Network. Is an initiative from the European Commission, created by European Commission and coordinated by European Commission in order to support especially SMEs and startups and those creatives that want to scale up European and international markets in order for them to grow abroad. We have to do this, we have partnering services. We organize brokerage events, company missions, and as well as tailor-made missions. This is very, very relevant because we are a tailor-made network. I usually say that we are, in all the network, we are 45 countries participating, 600 organizations, clusters, Chamber of Commerce and Industries, universities, research centers. And I like to say, based in my experience, that we are a network of doers and solvers. We really listen to companies in order to help them to solve their problems and to grow.
So, yeah. So tailor-made, give us one concrete example of how you tailor-make something.
Yeah, for example, when I speak about these tailor-made missions, a very practical example, I work in Portugal, I'm based in Portugal, and let me say that since February, the Portuguese government recognized the newest cluster of competitiveness for cultural and creative industries in Portugal. This is very good news. But within the work of Enterprise Europe Network, we receive requests from designers from the north of Europe, Netherlands, UK, Finland, Norway, and Denmark. And they go to Portugal, to Italy, to Spain, and we go with them to the deep country factories. We look to the factories, the traditional factories, new one factories that could answer the requests that this design has, and we go with them in a very tailor-made work, presenting themselves, facilitating the conversation, and doing a very good follow-up after these visits, these meetings in companies' facilities, in order
Yeah.
to establish new collaborations between all of them.
And you're talking, what are they making? Handicrafts or furniture or clothes, or what sort of stuff are
We
they
are
making?
working with all the topics of the cultural and creative industries. As Kati mentioned, there are a spillover effect of the cultural and creative industries. We have relevant pillars inside this sector, just like Jan mentioned as well: cultural heritage, architecture, gaming, and all the audiovisual media, publishing, the fashion, handcrafts. All of these topics are relevant, and we are working with all of these.
Great. I saw, Raffaele, you were nodding. I guess you being out there in Matera, a beautiful little town in southern Italy, that became very important in the for the European Space Agency, actually. But it used to be rated as the poorest town in Italy, and it has seen a renaissance, hasn't it? And I guess you can see the potential there. Small towns, as what Seo was talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly, Chris. And thanks to named Matera, because we have also another important experience with the European Commission, because in 2019 we become capital of culture. And I think capital of culture in general in Europe are also very huge space to test the cross collaboration from digital sector and CCI. In this way, we can also invite the European Commission to understand how it's important to create something new involving this important ecosystem, like the city and territories, especially the small villages, as you say before. The idea from our side is for sure to generate different opportunity to invest in this cross collaboration in the small villages, especially because we need to regenerate some part of the Europe in internal area, for example, mountain area, as you know, and the small villages and the small city are very an important ecosystem to test something, some cross collaboration sector, and the European Commission maybe can invest in that with a specific program. And important is also the mobility, the idea who we put in the project of Matera 2019, and also a lot of capital of culture and other ecosystem territory as in their program, is to generate this sort of residency, co-production. That's the key point and the keywords maybe. So in that sense, mobility of artists and digital experts and researcher is one key point, but also invest in this co-production, especially because when we think about the innovation and maybe the digital innovation, sometimes in the big enterprises, it's not really simple to generate innovation. Also to think out of the scheme, if you look the situation now in Europe, maybe the best interesting prototype and project innovation are in the micro sites. So the idea from our side is to help help people to work together in a specific site, because in that sense you can accelerate the process.
Can you talk about a specific, a concrete example of that?
Yeah, the idea from my side is to generate, as we do, for example, we create this opportunity in our project. Friends CCI or Creative EU was the two projects who invest thanks to Cascade funding, to promoting the cross collaboration from enterprises, research center, and municipality in that sense.
Producing what?
We have some direction. We suggest some topics. The idea from our side is to use Cascade funding to invite organization and people to work together, to apply together with a specific topic, for sure. But in that sense, we cannot guide absolutely, in a very right way the innovation in that sense. We just facilitate that combination and that work. This is, I think, the key point.
Well, let me bounce back to Georgiana, because you mentioned Friends CCI, and Georgiana, can you talk about lessons learned from your experience?
Oh, a lot of lesson learned in the Friends CCI project, but also a nice experience for all of us. If I can talk about three main lesson learned, I think first is there is a lack of awareness about the concrete value of CCIs that can be brought beyond aesthetics, particularly their ability to catalyze user-centric innovation, enhance product, service, and design, and support the transition in sustainability and digitalization. Second, as we already discussed, we have a very high fragmented network, making it difficult to scale or formalize collaboration with larger industries. Actually, that's why I think funding mechanisms are often not tailored to creative workflows as much as we want, and sometimes this might discourage the cross-sector partnerships, but of course we need to stay resilient, and I'm pretty sure that together with all the EU agencies and not only, we can find solution for this. And third, we have the language and mindset differences between the creative world and traditional industries, which sometimes can lead to cultural gap. And the industrial sectors may see CCIs a little bit soft when in fact they can be central to redefining value chains in a human-centric economy, actually. So these are somehow also things that we see as potential of the CCIs, and sometimes not that utilized in other sectors. And of course, the cross-sector collaboration showed us that we can grow a lot together.
And Genevieve, what about you? What lessons have you learned in your experience? And for anyone thinking of a question, please do put it in the Q&A section or in the chat. Either way, we're watching both of them. Genevieve.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, and I fully support Georgiana. So to what she was just commenting. So I think sometimes we underestimate the power of collaboration, and I like what I think. Georgiana, I can quote you. I mean, this is, I think, the best. I think it was the best outcome after our Createch Summit is if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you collaborate, right? So this is Georgiana, but I just want to share with everybody the power of collaboration, because I think especially in Southeast Europe, we've been quite kind of selfish or individualist in a way. Okay, this is especially in the creative industries, there is a lot of ego, right? This is I'm the best, you can do it better than me. But then I think nowadays things are changing. So if you don't collaborate simply, okay, even if you are the best, you can't go far. So I think this is one of the best lessons we learn. And now, after I mentioned about the consolidation of the creative industries in Bulgaria, finally, after 10 or 15 years, now, like this week, a group of gamers, they're going to digital dragons. I think this is in Poland. So it's a very big event. They're going together, and they would not go if they didn't join the cluster. Or next week, there is a big group of 15 companies from immersive technologies, gamers, also designers, also media guys, going to China, invited to go and share experiences there, like European, companies. This would not be possible. They couldn't go alone. They had to go. No, they couldn't go alone. Absolutely. Yeah. And also now there are some funds available. So collaboration, I think, is the key. This is my stigma for 20 years. And so that's how I understand. And I really like to share and to convince people who are thinking about it, go for it.
Very good. Go for it. Kati, you had something to add there. You raised your hand.
Yeah, thanks. I have many points to comment, but I will
Go ahead.
begin with the Rafaela's thought about creative industries being a prototyping field, and that's exactly true. And this is what we do. I think innovation is in the core of anything we do in the creative industries, basically. But that also brings unpredictability to the table, unpredictability of the success of the prototype, as well as the unpredictability of the acceptance of the audience. So and the trends and all what is going on. So there are a lot of uncertainties in our field in that sense. But that's also the beauty of our field, because there's, the opportunities are endless when creating something new. Let me tell you a very small example on this. I was working for a Finnish investment tool, which is a microfunding concept for creative industries. We, in the group where we were selecting the funded projects, we were reading this application drawn by hand, basically saying, we have this game idea of these birds flying over a fence, and there are pigs on the other side, and we want to test the physical engine of a new smartphone. This was 2007, I figure. We want to test how the technology works for the birds flying and colliding with the pigs. And we were like, what on earth is this? What's the point of this all? But we gave them, I think, 5,000 euros. And it became Angry Birds eventually. And the success was immediate.
Wow.
Like within a year or two after
Chapeau.
us giving
That's
the
fantastic.
funding, having no idea what's going to happen, we decided, let's give them a try. So, and I'm not taking the kind of the honor of this, but I was involved in this kind of process that within a year or two, celebrities in US were talking about, in their TV shows about this game, and everybody was crazy about it. So, the unpredictability can also open up wonderful opportunities for creative people. Another thing is that, as Genoveva was saying, you can't do things like this without your network in the field. Because typically, and as Rafaela was saying as well, that the companies are really small typically, they need the networks. They need partner networks. And this is also the very core and DNA of creative industries, that people work in networks, they share risk, but they also share talent, and they learn together. And this is a strength. It seems like a weakness in a way, but it's actually the strength which makes the field very agile to develop things. Then a totally another point. Genoveva was mentioning Eurovision Song Contest, and I need to comment this because I realized I've been watching it for 50 years, 50 from the beginning of the 70s. Yes, I'm so old. It is a symbol of the versatility of European cultures. Now we're here, for example, we're talking about gelato artigianale in southern Italy. I was presenting a picture from the Sami culture up in the northernmost part of Europe. And I think that Eurovision Song Contest is all about that, like bringing the languages, bringing the folklore, bringing the musical traditions of Europe, but also creating this wonderful carnivalistic joint venture of people chipping in and celebrating culture and being together, and also, celebrating inclusivity as well. So I think that as a symbol of the cultures, it also shows how culture can actually be a societal phenomenon and a movement, bringing different kinds of people together and letting them discuss certain things, and perhaps even carnivalistically or even being anarchist, in the sense that the culture is actually a kind of a mirroring our society, and big discussions about who belongs to the society and who has a say, and you know, how do we appreciate each other? I needed to say this because I love Europe from this respect, that we really appreciate the versatility of our cultures and languages and ways of thinking. And I think for our continent, that's our biggest strength in creating.
Good points, and I think that point about the Angry Birds people, you know, jotting something down on a piece of paper shows how the potential that if some of these ideas are tapped and developed across Europe, we could thrive even more, and that's what these metaclusters are about. That's what the cluster collaboration is about. Can I jump over and please do send in your questions or comments either through the chat or the Q&A. Would like to hear from you, John Angelo. I mean, you mentioned how you know, in Venice, the Venice area is turning into a Disneyland now. I know that there are a lot of artisans in that region, and also in Venice itself. How do you help them continue to do their business? Because some of them are being, I guess, crowded out by that Disneyland aspect. How are you fighting back?
Sorry, Chris, I did not understand one word which is essential for the question.
How is, you know, through metaclusters, through your cluster efforts, that you're able to assist these artisans in Venice to survive stronger together?
You have to think that there is not only Venice, but there is a bigger region around. So Venice is a particular case. But anyway, as we speak about creative industries, one of the big problems that we through Italy, and I'm sure even in the other European regions, is maintaining of a cultural heritage. And for this reason, we are always thinking about, for example, I give you an example of the open tourism potential. Means that we have park, we have garden, that we have around this big cultural heritage, we have something very interesting for the tourist. And so we wanted to put from Venice tourists to the region, to the land, attracting the tourists through open tourism means, for example, glamping, for example, small investments about houses on the trees, about houses on the water, and so on, because in this way, the private owners or private companies managing this big heritage that we have can get some money selling the services and nights and so on to the tourist, getting some resources, some money for maintaining this big and important cultural heritage, because otherwise, without this big cultural heritage, we will reduce our potential in the tourism sector. So it has been, but not only done by the public institutions, especially from private companies. And for this reason, we are building new projects, creating new European projects, for example, about open tourism.
Okay, very good. Let me go to Seu, because I think you're ready to talk a bit about barriers, overcoming barriers that CCIs face, and what the sector must do today to overcome those barriers. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, this is a sector, as mentioned, with very small startups and people working alone. So I think but let me mention that the main lesson I learned during these last years working in this sector is, and I experienced it in the field, is that all the industries are changing from the made in concept to the new one created in, with excellent innovative ideas and excellent results. In the field of CCIs, I think that the main barrier is the capacity to demonstrate the value and the impact of CCIs. we almost think about culture and creation without giving to the products, the services. We have tangible products, but intangible products as well in services, and all the activities in this field, the real economic value that it has. So to demonstrate the value and the impact that the cultural and creative industries has in each country and at European level is the most relevant barrier in order to give the sector the fundings that the sector needs, the policies that could protect the sector, as we see in defense, in energy, because CCIs has this spillover effect to give us well-being and health as well. So this is the diversity and inclusion is very relevant as well, and to address the structural challenges and improving the access to funding and financial support is of utmost relevance for the sector group. If I have 1 minute more, I would very much like to share with you some simple and real and disruptive examples of collaboration between different sectors when CCIs has a key role. For example, between CCIs and technology, we see collaborations between game developers and educational institutions to create immersive learning experiences. Between CCIs and healthcare, we can see artists working with hospitals to create therapeutic art programs for patients, as well musicians collaborating with mental health professionals to develop music therapy interventions. And between CCIs in manufacturing, I saw industrial designers working with traditional manufacturers to innovate products, designs, and old artisans collaborate with large-scale producers in order to incorporate very good old traditional crafts into modern products. And in the field of construction and architecture and energy and the new emerging technologies, we can see very good examples of them working together in order to reduce consumption energy in all the buildings. So we have this spillover effect in all the other sectors of industry, and we must to have the right contacts in a EU level and in our own countries to demonstrate and show this value and this impact of cultural and creative industries as a sector group.
Okay. I'm actually looking in the chat what Yulia has to say. She's a Ukrainian musician displaced to Romania, and it's a rather long text, but she talks about that in Romania the creative sector suffers in Galati. She created an initiative to combine European artists like Moldovans, Ukrainians, Romanians, Dutch, and others to do a cross-cultural project where fashion, audiovisual technology could be interlaced. Any suggestions on how she could pursue that among the panelists? I don't know, Jana maybe, or yeah.
Because Galati is my hometown and also the headquarters of Open Hub, and I think we have a lot of common in with all the Ukrainians that are already displaced to our city. And yes, we see a lot of creativity and a lot of talent coming out in our city because of the new residents, we can say it like this. And Yulia, to answer your question, we are more than open to discuss with you inside the Open Hub cluster where we already have Moldovan partners, and why not seek together solution on how to promote the art and the culture you are bringing into our country. And for sure, there is a lot of things to do to initiate new collaborations. The start, it's always not that easy in some situation, but for sure we can find solution to help you out on bridging together the Ukrainian artist and also the Romanian artists. And I'm pretty sure that you also has a raised hand, and maybe she has also a suggestion for Julia.
Yeah, great. Yeah, let's Seu. Yeah, what suggestions you have, and also Gianangelo. Let's start with Seu.
Yes, I would like to give my support to this person as Enterprise Europe Network initiative. We have members in all countries in Romania. So please stay with my contacts, and I further Georgiana. And the point is that we can work together to support each company. So I will give the contacts of my colleagues in Romania, and we can work together to support the needs and to go for one level, for a better level of cooperation and experiences and results as well.
Julia, you already have a support group here. Seu and Georgiana, you can put things in the chat so the two, so all of you can connect. I think Gianangelo, you have something to add there.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Now, I would like to give a general answer, even because we are at the end of our talk. We had this very important experience of cascade funding projects. Friend CCIs 1, when we had the digitalization in the tourism sector, rural tourism, which means the developing of tourism in rural areas. Cascade funding are not easy to manage as projects, but is a very important challenge because you can, through this kind of project, financing some ideas like this Ukrainian person said in our chat, means that you as cluster, you can give more services to the companies of your region, of your cluster, of your town. I think we have to think about to support with the European Commission, to ask the European Commission to develop the system of a cascade funding project, even if they are very difficult challenge, because sometimes they take some liquidity cash problems to our institutions. But we have to find the way with the European Commission to find a solution of the cash problems. But the idea of the cascade funding is a very, very valuable idea.
Very good. Great. And we have, let's see, Kati, you mentioned about in the chat, an acceleration call for startups and SMEs open now. So everyone keep an eye on the chat. And at this point, I think I'm going to, yeah, Gianangelo, you have to leave soon, I guess, in any case, right? So thank you for joining us. And,
thank you to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Among the speakers, anything else to add before we move to the financial opportunities?
Let us work always together. We get very good results together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great.
Bye.
All right, thanks to all the speakers. And let's move on to the final part of this talk, this cluster talk. Let's move to Nina for the funding opportunities.
Thanks, Chris, and all the speakers. Just a few closing words. There might be some interesting calls currently open on the funding and tenders portal from the European Commission that I wanted to share. And this is one. We talked about audiovisuals, and it's a call that should help to increase the capacity of audiovisual producers to develop projects with the potential to circulate throughout Europe and to facilitate European and international co-production of cinema. So we're talking about European mini-slate development by at least 2 or maximum 3 works for commercial exploitation intended for cinema release, television broadcasting, or commercial exploitation on digital platforms. So the support will be given to independent European production companies able to develop a slate of 2 to 3 audio-visual works. The deadline is the 17th of September, and it is published on the Funding and Tenders portal. The link is in the chat in case this is interesting for any of your members to apply to. And we also talked about the European Digital Innovation Hubs. There are actually 2 calls open to widen the network and to complete the network. There's one call to develop the EDIHs in Bosnia and Herzegovina and in Moldova. As you know, the European Digital Innovation Hub should support the digital transformation of SMEs, mid-caps, and public sector organizations, and help to increase the digital maturity of the organizations and to increase the number of companies benefiting from using European AI technology. So in case you have partners in those countries to complete the map of the EDIHs, they can apply until the 2nd of September on the Funding and Tenders portal. And the other call is called consolidation of the networks of the EDIHs. And here, the focus of the call is to select new EDIHs from seals of excellence, meaning they were not funded in the first part, but they were evaluated as very promising. So from the countries Albania, North Macedonia, Turkey, and Ukraine. And here as well, they should provide services for the digital transformation, and specifically it's called testing for investing, training and skills development, support to find investments, and networking and access to innovation ecosystem for a wide range of digitalization needs. The same deadline, 2nd of September, on the Funding and Tenders portal to complete and consolidate the network EDIHs, which, as we've learned today, will also support the creative and cultural industries. That's it from my side, and thanks to everyone.
Okay, great, Nina, thank you very much. Make sure to register for the next cluster talks, 21st of May, 28th of May. Be sure to register on the Cluster Collaboration platform. You can continue the discussion we had today online in the LinkedIn discussion group. Keep in mind, hashtag #EUClusters talks to cast anything wider from what you heard today. And this show is being recorded for playback. Slides available on the Cluster Collaboration platform. You can review all of that. I'm Chris Burns. Thanks for watching. See you next time.